Some of you have actually seen that piece before. That was actually produced 2 years ago, and we just wanted to show it again tonight for those of you who hadn't seen it, to really give you an idea of what we're talking about when we mention the blackfish effect. As Jeff mentioned in the presentation, we really think of it as a portal to further conservation activism. So that's why we decided to name Superpod 6 the Blackfish Effect. We really think a lot has been done, and we know a lot of you in the room have done it. We really appreciate it. So thank you very much for being here. Some of you already know me, some of you don't. I'm Kimberly Ventry, and my opening comment is always, I'm Jeffrey Ventry's sister. I'm not his wife. That's always a question when I meet people. So I first got involved with orca captivity or even anything in animal activism when in February 2010, I received a text from Jeff saying, a whale just killed a trainer at SeaWorld. And to be perfectly honest, for me, I got interested in it from a corporate malfeasance perspective. I wasn't really interested in, I always loved animals, but from an activist point of view, that wasn't what drew me into the story. And then from there, I've gone on to work on a lot of different projects involving animals, including all of everything surrounding blackfish, as well as I've been working on a chimpanzee sanctuary, other animal rights issues, other conservation, climate change, etc. So that's how it's affected me personally. I'm sure over the next couple of days we'll hear a lot of stories how it has affected you and our presenters, and we just want to thank you for coming out. Another part of the history of this, though, that we really want to emphasize is that all of this, going way, way back, started when Jeff came to San Juan Island in 1996 and came to visit Ken Balcom at the Center for Whale Research. So we had a meeting last night, and Jeff described Ken as sort of the godfather of everything that we're doing here. And we really want to thank Ken and the Center for Whale Research for the work that they've done over the past decades, because none of us would be here if it weren't for them. And I just want to quickly call up Katie Jones, who's here from the center, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about the education and outreach that they're doing, and we're going to hand out some cards because we really hope that you'll support them going forward.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. I actually have two exciting things to share with everyone this evening. The first is the opening of our new Orca Survey Outreach and Education Center. The mission... We're definitely very excited about it. The mission statement behind it is to share with the public the knowledge and the research that we've collected over the past 40 plus years. We'll have lots of fun interactive displays as well as drone footage and footage from our encounters to share with people. It is free to the public, and it's located at 185 South 1st Street at the top of the ferry lanes. Please come see us this week. We'd love to see you. The other exciting piece of news I have to share is that we've just launched a new app. It features a handy tool to help with southern resident killer whale ID, and lots of great info about the orcas. It's available for free download in the Apple App Store and Google Play. We do have some volunteers in the audience that will be passing out a promo piece with all of our info on it. And if you don't get one of those promo pieces passed out here, we will leave some extras in the lobby. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate it.
I just want to say, not only should you take the time while you're here to go by and visit the new center in downtown Friday Harbor, but nobody ever likes the task of asking for money, so I'm going to ask on their behalf. The Center for Whale Research exists fully by memberships and donations. So if you have an opportunity to go by, if you have an opportunity to become a member, that's how they continue their research. A lot of you gave donations to come here to Superpod 6, and that money is being used so that we can pay for the expenses of the theater and things like that. But we do ourselves intend to take those extra donations and make a donation to the Center for Whale Research. So we hope that you'll join us in that, because that really is the beginning of all of this and all of us being here. So thank you so much, the Center for Whale Research. Great job. We love the San Juan Island community because they have been so supportive of us. So while you're here, in addition to enjoying this really great theater, make sure that you go out and see the wildlife, visit the town, the restaurants, and just let other people in town know that everything that we're doing here over the next couple of days is open to the public. So anybody that's a resident, a tourist, anybody that's just walking by, they're all welcome to come here and join us at the theater. Then in terms of just like basic housekeeping, we will be here tomorrow morning starting at 8 a.m. And there's a great lineup of people who will be presenting. We've got a great scholar advocacy group that's all been put together by Dr. Lori Marino. And I have the lights on my face, so I can't see where Dr. Marino is over here. So make sure you come out and see a lot of those young advocate scholars. Dr. Ingrid Visser is here. Dr. Naomi Rose is here. I can't really see everybody right now, but anyway, there's a lot of great presentations. This schedule is available. Jeff has tweeted it out. I have tweeted it out, as well as it's on the Superpod 6 Facebook page as a PDF, and it's also listed in just the post. So if you want to see who all the presenters are, make sure that you check that out. We ask that when you come to the theater, please, if you're going to stay for a presentation, stay for the full presentation. Just the way that we're setting it up this year is a little bit shorter time for each presenter. We've got a packed schedule, so each presenter will have approximately 20 minutes, and then Jeff is like an additional 10 minutes or so for Q&A, so you'll be able to interact with all of the presenters. And then finally, just to sort of conclude this evening's welcome, we have Blackfish playing at 7:30, so that'll be open to the public. And if you're staying for that or coming back for that, if you're running out for a minute or two, please do. There'll be other people that are joining us. And then we have just a short presentation, because we do love San Juan Island so much. After all of the presentations on Wednesday and Thursday, there will be a sundown whale watch at Lime Kiln State Park. And Erin Cora is here. She's just going to quickly tell us about that. And she's got a great presentation that she's put together about Lime Kiln. So we're just so happy to be here, and we love Lime Kiln, and we hope that you'll come out there. They also exist, their organization exists on donations too, so check out their good work also. And then after this film, if you want to stay, please stay. You can go out into the lobby and check out the organizations that are out there. And then if you don't stay for the movie and you're not here, then meet us back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. Thanks, Lord.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to San Juan Island if you're visiting, and good to have all the familiar faces here too. Yeah, Thursday night is going to be a really fun night, so I hope you guys can make it out, at the very least, for a nice sunset. I know there were orcas out at Lime Kiln today too. It's always a mystery, but a joy to see them out there from land. Well, we're on terra firma, kind of our place. They're out there in the ocean, and it's always a magical thing to see them from land, and from anywhere, honestly. But so the original SeaWorld, right? Right here. This is where the inspiration for it all really kind of began, right? So I definitely want people to be able to feel free to come out. It's a state park. It's open to the public, obviously. So come on out anytime. We've got a great lineup of presenters here too at the theater, but I know how it's hard to be inside when there's a lot going on outside. So, but we've got amazing people lined up, and I'm excited for all of that. We're gonna try to get a video coming up here. I don't know, Jeff, is this your computer? Kind of went away for a second here. Oh, okay. Well, so for those of you that haven't been out to Lime Kiln before, it's a state park. It's actually one of the only places that's in the country that's actually designated as a whale watch park. And how many people have been out there before? How many people want to go if they haven't been before? Okay, well then that's the whole crowd. So by the end of this week, hopefully we'll all know what Lime Kiln is all about and love it. And I've got a really fun video that we made for our interpretive center. I actually have been out there for about 11 years now in one capacity or another as interpretive specialist for the state parks, and then now as a founder and executive director of F.O.L.K.S, Friends of Lime Kiln Society. So I've got flyers out about the actual event. We're running an actual fundraiser going on for the state park. There's a lot of need out there, so either volunteering or just being participating in any capacity you can. We're very grateful for that. So let's go ahead and just watch the video. I had a lot of fun producing this with some friends on the island here, and enjoy.
Bring the lights out.
Yeah, can you bring the lights down?
She's gonna come right here. Stand up.
Over here, Daddy, over here. Come on.
Welcome to Lime Kiln Point State Park, also known as Whale Watch Park. Every season, more than 300,000 guests from 40 different countries visit the park hoping to have an encounter with the killer whales that visit the park too. Lime Kiln Point State Park covers 36 acres of rocky shoreline, sunset red forests of majestic madrona trees, and historic ruins from lime mining operations that date back to the time of America's Civil War. The entire park can be explored over an easy to moderate trail system that connects to 200 acres of surrounding public land managed by the San Juan County Land Bank. Just below the southern edge of the park, Deadman Bay provides a generous glimpse of life in the intertidal zone. Volunteer park naturalists with the Friends of Lime Kiln Society guide visitors on intertidal discovery adventures, uncovering secrets about the shoreline and exploring life in the tide pools that can only be observed up close.
They're crustacea that, when they're very, very small and floating around in the water column, come up to a rock that looks like home to them, and they glue their head to the rock. And then they make a house around them, and whenever the tide is in, they stick their legs out and sweep it through the water to gather food and bring in to their house to eat it. You want to try that? You know, okay. You I'll hold your feet. No. Anyway, but that's what barnacles do, and we have.
Other observers of the intertidal zone rely upon these shallow waters for their food. Like the slow and steady great blue heron, who stalks a tide pool sculpin before finally striking with quick precision. Like the black oyster catcher, with its powerful, sharp, pencil-thin bill that can easily pry open a mussel or limp its shell and extract the contents. Or the irresistible but rarely seen sea otter, who commonly grazes on kelp but is capable of removing and eating just about any marine invertebrate that clings to the rocks. The shoreline also tells the story of times past. There are remnants in the park that mark time on San Juan Island and illustrate the stories of people and activities that altered its history. One young settler from Kentucky spent only a few years here, but left a lasting mark. In June of 1859, Lyman Cutler exercised prairie justice on a Berkshire boar who wouldn't stay out of his potato patch, and unwittingly set off a 13-year boundary dispute with the British, named the Pig War. Perhaps growing weary of potato farming, with the Pig War just into its second year, Lyman Cutler decided to try his luck at making lime from quarried limestone, an emerging industry that would dominate the economy and life of the San Juan Islands until the Great Depression. Together with a business partner, Cutler launched the San Juan Lime Company on what soon became known as Lime Kiln Point. Their seaside operation included 2 large wood-fired kilns, a boarding house, a ship's wharf, and limestone quarries just upslope where mostly immigrant quarrymen put in a hard day's work. A few years later, Lyman Cutler sold his share of the company and left San Juan Island for good. The lime mining operation he founded would change ownership several more times and leave a legacy of murder, misfortune, a lighthouse, and a state park. Today, interpretive signs and a restored lime kiln at the original site of the San Juan Lime Company tell the story of the big ovens and how chunks of rock were turned into barrels of lime, 200 a day at their peak. On August 30th, 1914, a few miles south of Dead Man Bay, the 223-foot retired sailing ship America ran aground with her tug in heavy fog and later sank. That same year, the U.S. Coast Guard established one of its last major light stations in Washington state at Lime Kiln Point. In 1919, a permanent lighthouse tower and fog signal building were constructed, along with 2 houses for lighthouse keepers and their families. The light stands 55 feet above the water at mean tide, and it is still operational as a navigational aid maintained by the U.S. Coast Guard. Fully automated since 1962, the light flashes every 10 seconds from dusk until dawn. Shallow bays at each end of Lime Kiln Point support underwater meadows of eelgrass in spring and summer that provide a spawning ground for herring and offer a source of food and protection for juvenile shrimp, crab, and salmon. Between these bays, the rocky shoreline at the edge of the park descends quickly to a depth of 900 feet. A constant supply of protein-rich nutrients is pushed up a steep wall from the cold seafloor by strong currents and a process called upwelling. Green phytoplankton and a massive variety of tiny creatures, collectively labeled zooplankton, are so dense here they cloud the water. Within sunlight's reach, giant bull kelp and a complex system of marine life anchored to this rocky wall are sustained by a constant supply of food swept along by the tidal flow. But this amazing buffet of microorganisms also satisfies the diet of millions of schooling forage fish that thrive here. Seabirds and marine mammals feast on this abundant supply of small fish. Mature salmon rely on their nourishment too, as they travel the western shore of San Juan Island on their journey north to spawn in the tributaries of the Fraser River in British Columbia. Salmon feeds not only harbor seals, but also the killer whales that have likely made the inland waters of the Salish Sea their home for thousands of years. And that is the reason they return to the Whale Watch Park every season. Killer whales are the largest members of the dolphin family, 3 to 4 times the length of other dolphin species commonly found in the Salish Sea. Compared to the great whales, though, killer whales are moderate in size, only half the length of humpback whales, and a fraction of their weight. No 2 killer whales are exactly alike. In the mid-1970s, photo identification proved that each killer whale was marked by noticeable differences in their saddle patch, dorsal fin shape, and physical scars like nicks and scrapes. As individual whales became familiar to researchers, they were able to piece together the social relationships and family structure of these whales that were repeatedly encountered throughout the Salish Sea, predominantly along the west side of San Juan Island. Scientists called this population the Southern Resident Killer Whale Community, and it consisted of 3 separate extended family groups, identified as J, K, and L pods. Lime Kiln Point State Park is acclaimed as the best place in the country to observe whales from shore, because of the frequency of their visits and the possibility of experiencing very close encounters. So visitors come in anticipation and wait, in the hope of seeing these killer whales of the southern resident community. No one has spent more time waiting for whales at the Whale Watch Park than Dr. Bob Otis, a former behavioral psychology professor from Ripon College in Wisconsin. Since 1990, Bob has used the lighthouse as his research station, joined by students from Ripon College and interns from around the world. He spends every day from May 20th to August 10th between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. recording observations about the whales that pass by. Bob has also used his video camera to photograph the whales and keep a visual record with thousands of hours of remarkable footage. His shots not only capture the physical beauty of these iconic whales in their natural habitat, but with the help of the Lime Kiln hydrophone, he has included a soundtrack, eavesdropping on their underwater communication as they socialize, forage, and play.
They're orcas. That's where they're like, look at them. Whoa, 3 of them at once.
That's a family.
It is.
Killer whales live in matriarchal societies. Male and female offspring stay with their mothers for life. Southern residents are commonly seen traveling in small groups, which may include up to 4 generations. Sons and daughters with their mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. Rarely far apart, family groups may spread out while foraging, but the entire pod eventually joins together to socialize and rest. At rare times during the summer, J, K, and L pods all travel through the Salish Sea at the same time. When they are together, it's called a superpod. This is frequently a time when adult males wander and mate with members of other pods. Reproductive females from 10 to 40 years old may give birth to a calf every 3 to 5 years, after a gestation period of 17 months. Killer whales are found in every ocean of the world. Each population group shares its own unique diet, language, hunting skills, and culture. There are other killer whales in the Salish Sea called transients that specialize in hunting seals, sea lions, porpoises, and other marine mammals, but they are rarely seen from the shores of the Whale Watch Park. The southern residents mainly eat fish, up to 300 pounds a day, and they forage primarily for Chinook salmon. The largest of the salmon species and rich in calories, Chinook provides the greatest reward for the effort and makes up 80% of their diet. The spawning migration cycle for Chinook salmon brings them from the Pacific Ocean past Lime Kiln Point State Park during late spring, summer, and early fall. The most frequent visits by the whales coincide with these Chinook runs. In 2005, southern resident killer whales were added to the endangered species list, long after their population had been decimated by capture for the marine park industry in the 1960s and early 70s. Nearly half of their community was depleted. By 1995, it appeared the population would make a comeback when it peaked at 98 whales, but since then it has declined nearly 20%. Deaths have outpaced the survival of newborn whales, largely due to environmental factors and the rapid decline of the Chinook salmon runs. The warning, "No fish, no blackfish," borrowed from coast tribal fishermen, has become a darkly popular phrase among advocates. If the southern resident community adapts to the loss of their primary prey, altering their diet in time to survive, it may be that they find a new food source outside the Salish Sea. But if we can restore the Chinook salmon habitat and see a reversal of historic declines, it may not be too late to keep these beloved killer whales in these waters and see them thrive in the future. Lime Kiln Point State Park is one of those extraordinary places where time slows down. According to Bob Otis's data, over the last couple of decades, the average summer guest at the park, who only visits for about an hour, has had a 1 in 5 chance of seeing whales pass by. So, stay a while, if you can. You may find that waiting for whales provides its own lasting reward.
So can you see how we consider Lime Kiln the microcosm of the Salish Sea? You can kind of experience and learn it all in a place like that. It's only 36 acres big. Bought from the state for from Ronald Reagan administration and back in '84 for $1. Do you guys know that? $1. Lime Kiln became a state park. So, pop quiz. Do you guys recall when the lighthouse was first lit? Oh, that was when it was realized it needed to be there. 1919. What's next year? So, how old is the lighthouse gonna be? 100 years old. It's actually the youngest lighthouse in the state, but nonetheless, 100 years old is a pretty big mark. So we're gonna have a big celebration next year. It was actually June 30th, 1919 that it was first lit. So June 30th, 2019, it happens to be on Sunday, which is awesome, because who doesn't like to be in a park on a Sunday? You guys are all invited back for that, for sure. But nonetheless, that's all your way. So I just want to thank you guys for being here again. And absolutely, Thursday night is going to be an amazing night. We got lighthouse tours at the top if you guys haven't been up there yet. We're going to have some live local music. It's actually also a fundraiser for the state park. We're going to have a silent auction, so if anybody's interested in donating towards that, just get a hold of me. We have flyers kind of all over the place for people to get a hold of me or my volunteers and become a part of it. So thank you so much again.